We are back after the break talking to these three young, dynamite, I would say dynamite people from India and Pakistani both. And as I said, I could not tell who's from where by looking at them unless they tell me their names, not even with the names. But anyway, we are back here. I want to ask you a question. Do you celebrate Independence Day?
Of course I do. Like back in Pakistan, I used to celebrate with my friends. Like we used to, like, respected our national anthem. We used to, have flags hang up everywhere. But in here in New York, it will be my first Independence Day.
Right.
So let's see what happens. I'll probably, celebrate like standing in front of the national anthem while hearing to, and that's it. Because Independence Day, like, it's a very special feeling for every countryman. Like you feel really proud for that. So let's see what happens on 14 August.
How about you?
Yeah, the Indian and the Pakistani communities on Long Island, and I'm sure in the city as well, are just very strong, and there are a lot of parades that occur that my family and I have went to once or twice. And generally, I think, for me personally, it's more of just sort of like me and my family, like celebrating and like kind of understanding their history and their stories that they can tell. But there are like big events, there are small events, so. Yeah.
What do you do?
Oh, I love Pakistani Independence Day. I usually go out into the city. There's a parade that we have, and then out on Long Island. Anytime I go to Pakistan over the summer, I usually make sure that we decorate my grandfather's house with all the flags, little flags, small flags. I think it's a very special event.
And you also like that a lot of pretty girls come to these.
Yeah. Beautiful.
You forgot to mention that, huh?
Yeah,
a lot of beautiful girls come to that
and they
parade
look
also.
beautiful in green and white.
Are my parents watching?
No, we just go for the independence and for the.
Beside the joking. If you would have lost your father, just assume, if during that partition, while Indians were moving to Pakistan or Pakistan people were moving to India, if you would have lost your father on August 14th or 15th, or during that time you saw their dead body, what would be your feeling?
I would have felt terrible. I mean, heartbreaking. Who wants to lose their father, especially their father? And I feel bad for the people who actually lost their loved ones. And it would have been a terrible feeling for the rest of their lives. And a lot of people, suffered that. They saw that, losing their own parents, their mothers, their fathers, brothers, sisters. I mean, what's worse than that?
How about you guys?
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think, like, looking back and making this a hypothetical, it's, ideally I want to say I would be able to understand, or, I would be very sad, I'd be very upset, but I wouldn't, want to harbor any like animosity. But in the moment, if it actually happened, I'm sure I'd not only be sad, but also really angry, really like wanting someone to pay for this. I would not be able to understand why this happened, and I would think that this is, it would be very easy to fall under the sort of rhetoric that it's their fault, they're the enemy, they did this to you, so now you should fight back for your family. And obviously, like, I don't want to think I would have done that, but in that emotional turmoil, who knows what people are willing to believe.
What do you think?
I totally agree with him. I think I would be caught up. It's easy for me to sit here now say no, I wouldn't have done anything, but you know what? Probably if I was there, yeah, who knows? Who knows? But I can tell you this much: I don't think it would be pretty what I would do. I think, but that's part of being human, I guess. We make mistakes where we get angry, but we should control our anger.
During that time, a lot of people lost their loved ones. For them, it's not the independence. They curse that day. I would do too. And that's kind of I wouldn't know what to do. I mean, I don't know myself what will I do. Because, in the previous show, we have met people, we spoke to, and they spoke about that, how they lost their loved ones. And they don't celebrate. Those people do not celebrate Independence Day. Do you, do you wish Independence Day to your Indian friends now?
I will definitely. Because since coming to New York, I've made a lot of Indian friends. I just made him an hour ago. So, and they've been really nice, so of course I will do. And it's a really good feeling.
How about you?
I agree. I think Independence Day is totally separate. We can agree to disagree, but there's some days that are just special, and you know what? We should all celebrate together as much as we can.
So what do you think we should celebrate independence? What? What does it mean? That we got independence from British people, or what?
Well, the fact that people, like at that time, that what the Pakistani people wanted, not the Pakistan wasn't that time, but the people wanted, they wanted a separate country for themselves, so they could like live in a separate place, not like being together with all the people. For them, like for them, that's the independence, and for them we should celebrate like they got a separate country for themselves. You see, so they could live by their own ways, whatever they want to do. But it would have happened also if they were together. So like for the sake of all the sacrifices made, for all the lives that were lost, I think we should celebrate that for them, like they did this for us. Like so in their memory, like in their love, we should celebrate the Independence Day. What they did for us, like we are sitting here.
Would you have felt the same way if you were living in Pakistan?
Yeah, definitely.
Nice to know.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's you know, for Pakistanis, I think it's a little bit different. You get your own separate homeland. For the Indians, it's more, I feel like you're that's it. You're done with the British. The British are gone.
Yeah.
You're in charge of your everything that you have in India or Pakistan. That's it. You're in charge of that. You don't have to worry about paying taxes to the crown or anything. So you know what? We're able to shape our own destinies both in India and Pakistan, and we don't have someone sitting in London deciding what to do for us.
You know, during that time, Hindus killed Muslims, Muslims killed Hindus. At the same time, Hindus saved Muslims, Muslims saved Hindus. If we look at that equation, that means it was not about Hindu and Muslim. It was something personal. What do you think about that, though?
Well, as I said earlier, like lots of like people were feeding their brains with wrong information, and I think that's what happened. Like if you feed someone, like if you make them angry, burn their hearts about all the stuff they say, so of course people get angry. And I told you, lack of education and information at that time, that's what forced them to do such a thing. Like you said, some people were saving them and some people were killing them, so the people who were killing them of course had something else in their brains, fed by people.
That means each one of us have the power to choose to do the right thing,
Yeah, of course.
or wrong thing.
Yeah.
हम सब के अंदर वो ताकत है ना,
जी बिल्कुल
हम
बिल्कुल
गलत भी कर सकते हैं और ठीक भी कर सकते हैं, correct?
Yeah. And sometimes it's, you know, harder to draw those lines of right and wrong, but I do think that, you know, different people reacted to this situation differently, and you know, when there's a situation of so much pressure and so much crisis, people can really rise to be, you know, very moral, very forgiving, or they can, you know, fall into the more common but more negative reaction.
Why do you think the religion have such an impact on people that people are willing to kill people?
It's a very delicate thing. I mean, religion, everyone is like really takes it really seriously. Even though they're not religious, they'll stick to religion very seriously. And if you mock them at the religion, they get angry because they think like it's very special. Of course, it's really special, but I think it should remain personal. Only like for a human, like if he's like religious, he should keep it to himself. Like he shouldn't trouble anyone else just because he disagrees with him.
Yeah. And for some people, religion is like a major part of their identity, their moral structure, and they feel like, you know, if someone goes against it, they're, you know, wrong and they need to be punished. And a lot of the times in certain, you know, extreme religious communities, if someone disrespects the religion, like, you know, the god or the gods want you to fight back and fight for the religion. And I think, you know, I agree exactly with what he said in terms of how religion really ought to be, or it could be a lot better for the world if religion was more of a personal thing, and it didn't require people to really, you know, have to harm or have to try to convince other people or have to try to change their own customs. And it just, you know, I'll be this religion, you'll be that religion, and we'll live together.
So will I be right that people did not kill because of the religion or the politics? You are saying they killed, it was the wrong information fed to people.
Yeah.
Well,
And some people chose to do that.